Hi, I'm Trey Griffith, and I'm the founder of HoneyComb, a service to help you manage your internal and network recruiting. For more information on HoneyComb, visit honeycombhire.com. Before I talk about what HoneyComb does, I want to talk about something that most people consider obvious, that network recruiting is a good thing. Network recruiting provides a number of benefits over listing position openings publicly. It gives access to passive, non-job seeking candidates. Recruiters usually consider these the best candidates, but they're hard to reach because they're currently employed. Candidates that come through your network are aggressively filtered. Because they're recommended to you by members of your network, they're filtered in ways that software can't. Candidates also have a pre-existing relationship to you. While you may not know them directly, the social link that exists helps you build context for them as an individual. There are also strong reputational effects at work. Those who you ask will give you a few good candidates instead of a lot of mediocre candidates. The recommendations that come with network recruiting are real recommendations. They're solicited by the hirer and not the job seeker, which increases the quality. But network recruiting is far from perfect. There's no visibility throughout the recruiting process. Usually network recruiting takes the form of sending out emails or messages to colleagues and waiting for an applicant to come out of the woodwork. This makes the process difficult to manage and audit. Your recruiting message, which you've probably put a lot of thought and time into, immediately leaves your control. By the time it reaches a potential candidate, your message is at best diluted from what you originally intended. The lag time and friction involved in network recruiting is one of its biggest inefficiencies. Any information that needs to be passed to or from a potential candidate usually has to pass through the same channels through which the original message was sent out. These channels are filled with parties with no vested interest in the hire, and requires a lot of effort on their part. Even the most trivial of pieces of information have extremely high latency. Network recruiting has difficulty extending beyond a few degrees of separation due to the friction involved and the signal loss in your recruiting message. This limits the size of the potential applicant pool that you're reaching. With the aggressive filtering of your network, limiting the size of the applicant pool is not a good thing. So, how does HoneyComb work? The process is pretty simple. First, you add information about your position. You can add whatever information you consider relevant: job description, location, pay, etc. Then, add the email addresses of those people from whom you want recommendations. These are the people who you trust to give you good job recommendations for this position. Those contacts receive an email through which they can easily apply for the position or recommend others. The cycle of recommendation will continue, and with it, the network will grow. As the network grows, you can see who's been recommended and by whom. HoneyComb makes the entire recruiting network completely transparent. Finally, you hire from the small group of candidates that your network has recommended for you. These candidates have applied directly to you, reducing friction, but you still know how they're connected to you. You don't lose that valuable part of network recruiting. HoneyComb is network recruiting done better. The process is totally transparent from start to finish. All the information about a position is in one place and under your control. You can also place controls over who can do what in the network and how far you want the network to extend. HoneyComb removes the friction in network recruiting by eliminating reliance on disinterested parties to facilitate communication. This results in the network's ability to reach beyond just a few degrees of separation, while at the same time maintaining context for every applicant. Due to the highly filtered nature of network recruiting, this increased exposure is good exposure. The entire process of network recruiting becomes formalized with HoneyComb, making it auditable and measurable. HoneyComb allows you to hire the right person by making network recruiting more effective. Thanks for listening. Visit honeycombhire.com to learn more about how HoneyComb can help you recruit through your network more effectively.